The name of the game is playing really, really good baseball in late May.
We have a motto here that, little things become big things. And if we can take care of those little things, I think we're gonna be all right.
We got to bring your expectations are high, and this is kind of what we're used to. This is how I was introduced to Middle Township basketball.
I miss being on the sidelines. I miss everything what high school football is all about. I think it's the greatest sport.
It's not a walk in the park going through our league.
And the message is simple. We want to win a state championship.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Cal One-on-One right here on Cave Atlantic Live, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. I'm your host, Nick Kosko. With me today is Cedar Creek football head coach James Melody. Coach, thanks for taking the time out of your day. As I know, the summer rolls on here for all football programs in the area. Training camp is starting to get underway, and can't believe we're already about 6 weeks away from the start of the 2024 season.
Yeah, it comes upon you quick. Thanks for having me on, Nick. Absolutely.
So you guys are coming off a pretty good campaign last fall, 8-4, got to the Central Jersey Group 3 finals. We'll just call it the sectional finals because, geography is thrown out the window these days in terms of the state playoffs. But coming off a good campaign, you guys have had a lot of success over the recent years since you took over as head coach. Of course, you go back only 3 years ago, your program was 13-0, 2021 regional champs. So going into this year, there's some change coming over here in 2024, but you do bring a lot of guys back for this Pirates team. What's the offseason been like so far?
Offseason was great. You get off the field. I mean, the end of November now is when the sectional finals are. So, we took 2 weeks off essentially, and we got right back to work. I mean, coaches will attest to this now more than ever. High school football's turned into a 12-month deal. I obviously encourage kids to play other sports, but even when they are playing those other sports, they're usually in the weight room too with me, and it's a lot of work that these kids put in. Like you said, we do have a good amount of kids coming back, but it's all about progression. It's all about what are they doing in the off season to get better. It's easy to put on paper that you have a lot of guys coming back, but are they putting in the hard work to get better? And I think that my guys have done a really good job up to this point, leading up into July now into the summer workouts.
So you look at that 12-month-a-year type of sport now that high school football has become, particularly over the last, let's just say 10 years or so. It's very different from when it was, even when I was in high school, generally these guys, there's off-season lifts, of course, but everyone was understood that if you're not lifting, you're probably playing another sport. How have you adapted as a head coach and, throughout your entire time coaching high school football to, okay, we're gonna have you through the summer, maybe a little bit in the spring, and then through the fall. But once it's winter and most of the spring, you guys are doing some other things. How have you adjusted as a coach since that transition has been made to basically it's a year-round sport now?
Well, I mean, you learn to build relationships really quick with your kids. I tell people this all the time. I'm with my players more than I'm with my family essentially, and I love that. That's I love that about what I do. Is that I do build very strong relationships with these kids, and I know them very well. It is challenging, and again, it's not just for me. It's challenging for the kids. I think what you worry about as a coach a little bit is burnout. Are we doing a little bit too much sometimes? But at the end of the day, if we don't do it, someone else is, and we understand that. And the expectation of our program is really high. So we go at it pretty hard, and there's a standard in our program, and the kids understand that, and the kids thrive off that. I think that it's understood that we have a target on our back. So if we do get complacent or comfortable in what we're doing, we're going to get caught. And our kids understand that, and like I said, I think that they own that, and it's important for them to do that.
How have you guys been able to manage that target on your back? Because, again, your school itself is not that old compared to the other schools that are in Atlantic and Cape May County. You're talking about a decade plus of varsity football at this point, but with a lot of success, sectional titles. We just mentioned the regional championship right before they added the state title game just a couple of years ago. It's been a standard. You mentioned the standard of your program. It's been a maintenance of excellence, it seems like, compared to other teams where maybe they had to build first to get to this level, but you guys hit the ground running, and it's been sustained quite well over the course of the school's short history. How have you guys been able to manage that, especially coming off of last year where you made another sectional final, and then the expectation is the same here in 2024 there and beyond?
Yeah, it's about development. And Coach Tim Watson did an unbelievable job starting the program and doing what he did, through the course of his 9 years, I believe, was unbelievable. So the foundation was laid when I got in here, and finding sustained success is about development of the young kids. Introducing them to what it's going to take from their freshman year, not just when they're ready to play varsity football, but they have to learn the traits of winning from that freshman year on. And I think that we do a really good job as a staff of introducing the young kids into what we want and what the expectations are. And I think it makes it a little bit easier for them moving forward throughout the program. It's finding sustained success now, especially in public school football. When you talk about non-public and parochial, you get that recruiting stuff, and coaches do a great job of doing that. They're allowed to do that. So I'm not saying it, but with public school football, you're getting what you get. But you have to find what works within your program. And I think that that's been the biggest thing for us, is that we have a foundation that's laid, and we just continue to build on it. And, like you said, it's been a short period of time within the school. We played varsity football for 12 years. We found ourselves in sectional finals 6 of those 12 years. So half the time we're playing into late November. I think that that's a really good job. And like I said, I think our kids thrive off that. I think that they like that there's a target on their back.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable considering when you look at schools that are maybe around the same age or who have similar trajectories, going across statewide. You guys have really stood out for sure. So speaking of development and getting young players up to speed, now you do have to replace quarterback Billy Smith, who just graduated from last year. He was a big part of your program, big part of your offense, field general. What's the plan at quarterback right now? Do you have a competition going? Do you have some guys that are ready to step up? How's that looking and going into the summer?
I think it's going to be a strength of our team. There is a competition right now between Junior Bethea. He's a junior. He actually started against Delsey last year when Billy went down with an injury. He also started on defense, and he also started at wideout. So he's a terrific athlete. And then we also have a senior in Riley Hofacker, who started the bulk of Timber Creek's games last year. He's a transfer in. So those are the two that are competing right now. They have different skill sets, so it's going to make it an interesting competition. But what I will say, and I talked to my team about it today, and we try to build competition within every position. I think obviously that makes every position a little bit stronger. But watching them compete through this, through the spring and now into the summer months, has been a really healthy competition between the two of them. And I watch them from the side, and they're rooting for each other, and I think that that's just making them better. I would say Junior is a great runner. He can also throw the football really well. I would call him an above average passer. I would call him a really good runner. He's level-headed. He stepped into times last year that weren't going to be easy. He threw a touchdown against Camden in the sectional final when we needed him for a play. And my confidence in him showed in that is that the one play he's in, he wasn't just hand the ball off. No, we're going to throw the football, and he threw a touchdown on that one play. So I'm excited for him. And then Riley, watching him play and watching him grow over the last couple months, he has one of the stronger arms in South Jersey. He's a big kid. I would call him more of a traditional pocket passer. But again, a very level-headed kid that's come in here and really just gelled great with our guys right away. So I'm excited for both of them. And I'm excited about what we can do as an offense using both of them, honestly, because the reality is that Junior's going to be a focal point of the offense no matter what. But it's been healthy competition. I love the way that they're competing. They're both really hardworking kids, which you need at the quarterback position, and they're both kids that kids are going to want to follow. So I'm really excited about that spot.
So regardless of who wins that position, it's probably going to be pretty good. As you just mentioned, you're pretty excited about the quarterback position. But there are a couple guys that are back that, of course, really need no introduction if they've been watching Cedar Creek football. Amir Dunbar at running back, one of your juniors coming back. Darius Benjamin, Jameer Campfield on the offensive side of the ball. And, of course, you can't go without mentioning Aiden Jinks. It seems like those four guys that were very productive last year, they seem to be making up the bulk of the leaders and the older guys on the team on both sides of the football that really are, I guess, primed to step up and really lead this team to new heights here in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Amir, being a 1,400-yard back as a sophomore, again, we need to see progression now. And I think that he's excited for that too. 1,400 yards, we're going to turn that into a little bit more or something like that. And he's worked really hard in the offseason. He was also a wrestler that made it all the way to the region. So hardworking kid. I'm really excited about what he can do this year. I mean, you talk about Darius. Darius has been playing for us. He played a little bit on special teams on that 21 team, but then, stepped into a bigger role as a sophomore, did really well. Last year, he had a little bit of a hiccup with an injury where he missed 3 games, and he still had 800 yards receiving. So he's going to be a very explosive player. I think he's one of the most explosive players in South Jersey. And I think that he's going to continue to show that. Jameer has been a really good player for us since his freshman year. I would consider him to be a kid that was a 4-year starter, and he's just gotten better and better. I think he's all 6 foot now, and he's growing. He's building up muscle into his body. You can add Gian King into that mix, a kid who has 3 or 4 scholarship offers right now as a defensive back, but he's also going to play offense. And I think the one guy you didn't mention, and we talked about before, was Mandel Pettiford is my other two-way player. He's a 4-year player for me as well. Yeah. 2-time all-conference player on defense. He's also has 4 Division I scholarships right now. What I'm most excited about, especially the kids that you just mentioned, is they're stepping into roles as leaders now. And I think that's, for me as a coach, when I can watch the maturation of a kid over 4 years, starting as a kid who's scratching and clawing his way to get onto the field as a freshman and sophomore, and then now seeing their leadership abilities throughout those 4 years, that's what makes me most excited as a coach. And I'm seeing that with some of these kids, and it's been awesome. I mean, Aiden Jenks, another kid you mentioned, had such a productive year last year. They're guys that have done it. They're guys that have gotten their feet wet and have been thrusted into big games at a young age. And now we just got to keep going within the process. And I'm excited for them.
I'm glad you actually mentioned that some of these guys are getting Division I scholarship offers and looks, and your program is, I would say, known at this point in South Jersey. Going back to guys you've coached, guys that Coach Watson has coached in the past as well. Obviously the Meltons come to mind real quick off the top of your head, and seeing that they're both now in the NFL. When you look at we can call it a pipeline, I guess. You see the pipeline from Cedar Creek to Rutgers to other Big Ten and other Division I schools around the area, and of course across the country at this point. When you see that and the way the program has been able to develop these guys from a younger age and become 4-year starters, you're continuing that trend with the guys you have now. I mean, what's it like to see Cedar Creek on more of a national level at the college level now, of course, with the Meltons as the prime example, seeing Bo for the Packers and now Max, who was just drafted by the Cardinals, seeing those guys play at the next level, at the highest level of football.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It is amazing. And again, I those guys, especially, the Meltons, I've gotten to know their family over the last couple of years, unbelievable parents. And, they had a great mentor as well in Tim. And I thought that what he did with the program before I got there to establish it the way that he's done, it did make my transition a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. But, it is awesome to see those kids. And I built relationships with Bo and Max over the last couple of years. I ran a youth camp with Bo last year, which was unbelievable. I had 200 plus kids on our campus at Cedar Creek. They're great representations of what we do at Cedar Creek. And I got to be honest with you, they left their mark, and my kids are acting in the same way. We're humble people. And I think that's what's most important. But they are a great representation of our school, and I'm excited for my younger guys that are starting to get those, Division I offers, and they are going off into college. I had 8 guys last year that are going to go play in college. I had 6 the year prior. I have 8 from the 21 team, 6 of them that are playing Division I football. That's what makes me most happy to see, is that these guys are going off to college and continuing to play. So their love of the game has remained not just through the years of Cedar Creek, but moving forward. Mm-hmm. And it is a great representation, because there are young kids that do want to go play in college. And, I played in college. I got to be honest with you. My best friends still to this day are the guys that I played college football with. And, and you build a bond at that level. And I want these young guys to still live that out. And, like you said, man, as a coach, it's unbelievable to see these guys go off to the next level and do the things that they're doing. And, I'm excited for some of my guys this year that I think are going to blow up on the national stage as well. I could name guys off the top. JoJo Bermudez, I think, at Delaware is going to have an unbelievable year this year. Zach Rickey at Wagner, I think he's going to be slated to start. Elijah Smalls at Maine. These are guys that I coach, that I watch grow, that are going to come onto the national scene now. And that makes me excited. I can kind of just sit back and watch now. It's an exciting time for us as a program.
Yeah, without a doubt. So turning attention back to 2024 for your guys this year, after the realignment for West Jersey, you guys are in the Constitution Division this year with Holy Spirit, Hamilton, Atlantic City, obviously you guys, and Ocean City. Pretty loaded division.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of those teams had a lot of success last year. Well, what was your first takeaways from the new division this year as part of the bulk of your schedule here in this coming fall?
I love it. It's important to be battle tested going into the playoffs. I think, I could turn the clock back to 2022. We were in a division with Delsey, Winslow, Ocean City, top teams. We finished the regular season, I think 3-6. And we went into Timber Creek as a 7 seed and we beat them. And I think that being battle tested against some of the best teams helped in that case. And I gotta be honest with you, last year we go 6-2, 7-3, whatever it may be throughout the regular season. We were in a top division then, and we went into a 9-0 team in the semifinal and we beat them. And very good team. I'm not taking anything away from what they were, but I believe that we were battle tested. And I think that helps you moving forward. I mean, we're a small Group 3 school and we're in a division with Group 4s, Group 5s, and non-public teams. And I'm not complaining about it. I love that. And we thrive off that. We want to play the best of the best. And I think that we're going to get that. And it's a mix of different kind of teams and they're going to be running different kinds of stuff. So, as you move forward in the playoffs, you're going to be tested against teams that are doing different things. And I think that that's going to make a world of difference at the end of the year. Everything that I say to my guys and I talked about the standard being the standard, the expectation. We have one main goal in the program and there's other main goals off the field that we want to accomplish. And we know that, but on the field, it's to win a state championship. That's the long-term goal. I don't put up, different goals throughout the year, like win a division, beat this team. We're 1-0 each week. We have a short-term goal and the long-term goal is to get to that final game and win. So that's what we want to do. That's what we're going to set ourselves up for. If there's a hiccup here or there throughout the year, wash it, get to the next week and go 1-0 that next week. And if we can do that and stay on that track. And like I said, the teams that decide to flatline throughout the year are the teams that are going to fall flat in the playoffs. If you go and show progression throughout the year, you're going to have a chance come November and into December.
So you look at that schedule again, you mentioned the battle-tested portion of it. You guys, again, by maintaining a good record and good standing throughout the last few years, you generally are going to be realigned in those tougher divisions. You do have more local teams in this division now this year as compared to maybe years past. You just mentioned Delsey and Winslow. Well, you might see them down the line, and it's good to get battle-tested against them. Some coaches are a little bit more in favor where they kind of want that delicate balance of competitive, but also they want to keep the old school fabric of high school football and have those local rivalries. So, you'll play, the teams in your Greater Egg Harbor region, Absegami and Oakcrest, but now you still have the old school Cape and Atlantic County teams still within your division. And I know at Cedar Creek, it doesn't go back a long time in the old school Cape Atlantic League, but they still have that flair. Did you like that part of it as well, knowing that even though there's other teams out there to play to be battle tested, but you still get those quality teams that are right in your own backyard?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I think I counted it up. I think it's 6. 6 of the 9 games are essentially within a 10-mile radius. So, and that is, especially for me, when I got down here, we were doing a lot of traveling. We were going to, like you said, Winslow. We were going to Camden. So I will say this. There's guys on my staff that, went to, Pleasantville way back in the day, went to Absegami back in the day, went to Oakcrest back in the day. They love it. I'm not really from around here, so I'm not really, too in tune with the Cal or anything like that. Yeah. But the idea that we do get to play teams that are in close proximity, a lot of my kids know those kids. I know that, when you talk about playing Absegami, when you talk about playing Oakcrest, when you talk about playing Holy Spirit, Atlantic City, Hamilton, Ocean City. My kids know those kids, especially in today's day and age where a lot of them are going to the same speed trainer, same strength coach, whatever it may be, where they do that extra work in, they see those kids. So I think there's a lot of familiarity. There's a lot of familiarity amongst the coaching staffs too. A lot of us know each other. So it is going to make for an interesting schedule this year. Since I've been there, we've always played Absegami and Oakcrest. So that's always been a long-standing rivalry, but getting Hamilton back on the schedule, I think will be pretty interesting. Getting Atlantic City on the schedule is going to be interesting. In 21, we played Holy Spirit, and that was an unbelievable game. We beat them 7-6. So I think that they're going to be coming for us pretty hard too, after that game. But, it is awesome that we do get to play the local teams and get tested that way as well.
Yeah, I remember that game in 21 that you just mentioned, 7-6 against Holy Spirit. I believe that was actually in Absecon as well. So you're talking about a
Yeah.
drag out. Basically that was just like it was like a rock fight, but in a good
Was.
way when you guys were slugging each other. Yeah, we remember that one from the booth for sure. A couple more for you, Coach, and I appreciate your time. You guys are opening up at Battle at the Beach this year against Camden Eastside, so a very high quality football team. On that Saturday, August 31st at EHC, 5 p.m. So nearly the primetime game to almost conclude the weekend. What was your takeaway from that? And I got to imagine you guys, knowing your success as a program, playing against Camden Eastside in a showcase game to open up the year, that's got to be one of the best feelings for your program to kick it all off.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. If you were during my tenure, so this is going to be my 5th year.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me what our biggest rivalry has been, it's Camden Eastside.
Yeah.
It has been unbelievable 4 games that we have played against them. And when you talk about like a drag it out game, it's been all of them. And we go back to that regional final game back in 21 when we beat them by a point. And then the next year we beat them 7-6, and then they beat us this year. So we've been going back and forth for years, and they've been really good battles. And they're a tough group. They're an athletic group. They're physical. I watched our game with them last year, and the more I look back on it, I thought they were the best defensive team that we played last year. They're going to present some problems for us, but we have guys that are going to have to match that, and it's going to be an intense game. It's going to be a showcase game, so the vibes are going to be high going into that game. But I'm excited about playing them again. Originally when the schedule came out, they weren't on our schedule, and we talked it over. We were like, let's keep this thing going, and I'm excited to play them, and they're going to be very excited to play us too. I know that.
Cedar Creek coach James Melody with me here on Cal 101 on Cape Atlantic Live, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. Coach, I'll leave you here with this one, and again, appreciate your time. You look at this 2024 season. Again, you've been here now. You're going into like the latter half of a decade now here when you're talking about your tenure at Cedar Creek. So you've seen a lot with the program, highest to highs. You've seen some lows. You've seen basically what all coaches can say if they've been in a place long enough. What's the message for your community, for the school, for these players, that just everyone involved in and around the program? The message about what this team is going to do and what will really stand out about this Pirates team here in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest message to them over the last couple months is that we need to be better together, and they're doing things a little bit more as a team than we have as in the past. But we're going to be a team that our community is going to be proud of. We're going to handle ourselves the right way. We're going to attack each day with a purpose and get better each day. And again, we want to make our community proud. That's what's most important to us. And it goes above the wins and losses on the field. We're going to carry ourselves the right way, and we're going to scratch and claw every single time we take the field. So I'm excited about the intensity these kids are bringing each day. And, it's going to be a fun year. It really is. And we just, like I said, we got to progress each week. It can't be something where we get complacent. I tell my kids that all the time, is my biggest fear is complacency. I never want to get too comfortable with what we're doing. I always want to keep striving to get better each day. And they're carrying that right now. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the year. And we're just going to keep working for it.
Just a little under 2 months away from the season opener. Again, August 31st, which is a Saturday, Battle of the Beach. That one will be at EHC, 5 p.m. kickoff, Cedar Creek and Camden Eastside. Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck this season. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the field. Hopefully we'll catch up later this fall and see what you guys can do. Once again, chasing another state championship.
Yep. Thanks, Nick.
Absolutely. This is Cal 101 and Cape Atlantic Live, presented by Ulmer's Appliance Service. Check us out online, of course, on social media, and, of course, the YouTube page. Like and subscribe. Check out all of our other Cal 101 podcasts. We'll see you next time.